We have a huge treat here. It's a surprise. Someone that I think is one of just the neatest human beings and also the smartest when it comes to sales, marketing, leadership, development, and transformation of human beings, happens to be here at the program. His name is Bryan Franklin. He's a friend that I made maybe about a year ago now, and he coaches professionals and entrepreneurs all over the world. He also has been an executive coach for many years, coaching some of the top executives, leaders, CEOs in Silicon Valley. So please welcome my friend Bryan Franklin.
How you doing?
Awesome.
I've been passionate about sales for a long time. I actually learned sales from my mom, which I know is really sexy to learn stuff from your mom, but I learned sales from my mom, and she taught herself how to sell because she was a mother of 3 children. She actually, before that, she had my eldest sister. She got pregnant with her when my mom was 16, and she started to show, so they kicked her out of Catholic high school because you can't show and graduate, apparently, in 1960. So they kicked her out of Catholic high school, and then she had a couple more kids, and her husband was kind of abusive, so then they split up. And so she was Catholic, and when you split up, that means the parents disown you. So she had about $2 to her name, single mom, 3 kids, husband split. Now, in that situation, in the 60s, you can do a couple of things. You can either be a factory worker, right? No education required. Or you can be a salesman. Now, why can you be a salesman in that situation? Why can you get the job of a salesman? Commission only, right? There's no risk, no education required. So she got off the train. She spent about half of her net worth on a train ticket into downtown Chicago. So she had half of her net worth to get home. And she walked into the first business that she found and said, I want to be a salesperson for you. It was a bus company that sold bus tours. And they said no. And she said, well, give me a list of the top 10 customers that you'd want in your dreams to have. And if I can come back at the end of the day with one of them, will you hire me? And they said, of course, but you're not going to be able to do it. She came back at the end of the day with 3. So she kind of taught herself how to sell. But she taught herself how to sell because she understands emotion. She understood emotions and how people relate to each other. Right? So we all know that sales is our emotional thing, right? That your buying decision is an emotional decision. Yes? Is this clear? I was actually shocked. The more I spent time in the kind of the corporate environment and board meetings, they were making billion-dollar acquisition decisions. And I thought that the role of the MBAs was to do all of the analysis so they could roll up all of that analysis about the companies that they would acquire and the strategic partnerships and the synergy opportunities and the market penetration. They get all that together so that they could evaluate it and make a decision based on that data. But it turns out that's not how it works. They make the decision, then they get the MBAs to justify what they've already decided they're going to do based on an emotion. So it turns out that that's how all buying decisions are made, whether it's a $1.6 billion acquisition or a cup of coffee. So we all know that. And we also all know that sales is a relationship, right? You're building a relationship with the customer in order to sell them. And the better you are at building that relationship, at building trust, for example, the better your sales conversations are going to go, right? We know that too. Well, given that, it's kind of puzzling to me how it's so often overlooked that the important thing in making a sale go, in making a sales conversation successful, is the sequence of emotions. And they have to go in the right order. So think about another kind of relationship like dating, right? And imagine you take all the emotions and activities of a date or of a relationship that leads to marriage, let's say, and you mix up the order. So then you show up on the first date, ding dong, she answers the door, you say, will you marry me? And then a little while later, you start taking off her clothes and ready for sex. And then after that, you're like, what's your name? You might have unpredictable results if you kind of switch the order of things, right? So my argument is that each of you are generating or establishing the relationship and the emotions that you need to with your customers in order to have, I don't know, at least double your sales conversions, except for you're doing it probably in the wrong order. In other words, if you switch the order of the stuff you're already doing, you're going to have a much, much better success rate with sales. So let's talk about that order of emotions, the order of emotions that you need to generate. Now, I'll assert whether or not you make the sale will depend on how expertly you generate these emotions in the prospect. And if you generate them powerfully, starting with the first, then at the end, when it comes time to close, you won't finish the sentence about whatever your closing statement is before they're getting out their money to pay you.